Hey, Lisa, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I've been very excited for this interview. I want to start off with a brief introduction so viewers can get more acquainted with your work. What do you have to say on that respect?
hmm Okay, so I'm a coach in Toronto, Canada. I I've used the word success coach, but there's so many different things you can put underneath that. What I really focus on right now and what my passion is, I work with a lot of younger spirits, millennials, but also, anyone that identifies with the younger spirit. And what a lot of people are coming to me right now is they really want to dive into their purpose. They really want to, maybe they've gone to college, they've gone to university, they've done all that, they've gotten into the workforce, and then they're getting this feeling that, wait a minute, this is not fulfilling me. Something's missing here. And I'm just it's so exciting for me to see these people just really stepping into their power and going against status quo and deciding that they want more. And that's why I became a coach in the first place. So that's what I'm doing now. And I have a really cool freebie on my website that anyone can go and grab. It's www.lisajeffs.com. And there's a freebie that allows you, it's journaling prompts that really helps you to dive into that deeper, that self-discovery of if you're the type of person who likes passion and purpose, and you really align with that whole idea of having a purpose, then you can grab that, because it's I've had so much feedback from people just really learning about themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll put the link in the description for viewers to go to that. Just pointing off what you said, I put in my video the benefits of drawing, and a main point in that video was to discover the truest expression of yourself. And I think that's one of the most productive things you can do in this life. It's a long journey, but it's totally worth it.
Oh, I think that is part of our purpose, is to go through that self-discovery and see, like, who
Yeah.
am I? Like, who am I as a person? We're so disconnected from that as a society.
Absolutely. Yeah. And actually, it leads to a nice segue to my next question. You have in your Instagram success coach, which we just touched upon, but also healer. And that struck me when I saw that. I was wondering if you could go into detail for viewers on that word, especially.
Sure. So I'm an energy healer. I work with Reiki energy. And I'm not healing anyone, but I'm facilitating the healing that happens. So one of the things I work with my clients is doing a lot of the mindset work, doing a lot of the healing of traumas and all that stuff that keeps us stuck and stagnant in our lives. So one of the things I do is Reiki healing, which is energy work, and that's just allowing the person's energy field to heal and get rid of any blockages. So when I say healer, sometimes I don't like it to sound like I'm not healing a person, but I'm facilitating that healing so the person is able to heal on an energetic level, just much more efficiently.
So you're really paving the path for them to be more optimistic and really get the good vibes out of this life.
Yeah, I believe everything is energy, so we are energy. And a lot of times when people feel that feeling of stuck, or they just feel like lack of motivation, it's a lot because that energy inside of them is blocked, it's stagnant, it's just kind of staying there. So when you can move that around and help the person to really feel the life force, our natural life force energy, things just start to open up for them.
I couldn't agree more. I started meditating this year, and it's been a fundamental change in my mindset in terms of finding the good in everything and getting that energy that I really needed. I think most people really struggle with these mental blocks, and to overcome that and to really focus on the positive, it really is to your benefit.
100%.
The next question I have, it really just focuses on the negativity positivity focus here. It's many people struggle with this. They tend to be very negative, and they look at the bad situation in their lives. first of all, what makes you so positive? And how can viewers become more positive? Very practical, very easy steps every day, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So being positive is first of all, a choice, right? It's definitely a choice. For me, I've always been naturally optimistic, but it's not like, you're just floating on a cloud and like it's roses and, butterflies all the time. Like that's not real life. Like humans are built to have different emotions. We have anger, we have jealousy, we have all that other stuff. So it's really making a choice to align yourself with, so I'll give you practical steps you can take. So for one, I make sure the people I hang around regularly are at the same, positivity scale that I am or higher. Also, I don't watch things like the news. I'm not going to scroll social media feeds that I know are going to trigger me and going to, send me off into a spiral. But also when feelings come up, so if anger comes up, if jealousy comes up, it's not about shoving it down and trying to just, shove it down with positive affirmations and just pretend like everything's, good and dandy. It's really, okay, let's get out a journal and think, why am I feeling this judgment right now? Why am I feeling this emotion? Getting down to the core, releasing it so you can bring in those high vibes. And it's not like you're just shoving high vibes onto all the stuff underneath, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. The self-reflection. Yeah, I think it's essential because you have to be asking yourself these questions and get very specific as to what the problem really is. Because if you say, I'm bad at this, what is it about that you're bad that's causing so much anxiety and negativity? You have to be very specific, and also, like you said, be realistic. It's one thing to be positive, but also understand this is the way things are and see them the way they are, and then look to improve them. So I'm right on the same wavelength as you.
Mm-hmm. It's humanity, right? So it's not like a lot of my clients will judge their emotions. So if they are feeling negative, it's like, well, I'm feeling negative and this is bad, and positive is good. But if you can just take away those judgments of good and bad and just see it for what it is and be able to process, okay, well, why am I feeling like this? What's going on? How can I release this and work up to how I want to feel? So it's taking that judgment. When you could take the judgment away and people no longer feel like they're being a bad person if they're feeling negative, that alone lightens up the mood.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even a label saying, "Oh, I'm a very negative person," it's not empowering you.
Yeah.
You have to think about these things. For viewers that are curious about these topics, a really good book, and I'm sure you heard about this, Lisa, Jess, is The Power of Now. I've recommended it to so many people, and they've told me, this book has changed my life, and I think it's foundational for this topic. The next point I want to really focus on anxiety and worry. I've read a lot of research that said that we are experiencing times where we have elevated experiences of anxiety, depression, and even narcissism. These are all negative feelings that we need to overcome. And you made a post on your Instagram that really struck me, and I'll read it out here because I think it's so valuable to really ponder. You said, "Imagine for a second, what would happen if you took all the energy you use worrying over what you don't want and spent it visualizing what you do?" I mean, a question like that opens up so many opportunities. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff on worry, so sometimes I have to be reminded of what I write.
Of course, yeah.
And so what I think about when I think about worry, because I find worry and anxiety, they can be two different boats. Anxiety is it can be a whole different animal to deal with. But with worry, I like to see it as each worry. So I visualize each worried thought that we think. It's like putting a big brick into a backpack. So if you visualize yourself with a backpack, and we come into this world, it's totally empty, it's light as a feather. And as we go throughout, life, we start picking up these bricks, these worries, and we're putting it in our backpack, and we're putting it in our backpack. And by the time, some people get into adulthood, they have this bag of bricks that is weighing them down, and they're just carrying it around. And one of the reasons that we do that is because we think in some way carrying all this worry is we somehow have control over everything. where somehow us constantly thinking of this stuff, we have control over the outcome. And that's not the case at all. So for me, it's really releasing that worry, like almost just throwing your hands up and surrendering. I'm giving up this worry to, you know, higher power, whatever higher power that is, and surrendering and knowing, releasing the control and knowing, having faith it's going to be okay. And then taking that energy and putting it on what you want to create. What do you want to create? Not what you're worried about it's going to happen. What do you want to focus on? And when you can start to do that, then you can start to just get into that energy of manifestation, and the world just opens up.
Yeah, it's a whole new world.
The worry is just weights. It's like you're just putting weights on yourself.
You know, it's so true. I think that if people actually, you know, adopt this mindset and realize that, you know, reflecting on what their worries were afterwards, that they really were worried about nothing, or at least it wasn't as bad as you think, you know. And I think many people can relate to that. They have experienced many times in their lives where they were concerned about something happening, you know, in an hour, tomorrow, in a year. And they realize, oh man, I wasted so much time and energy on that, and it wasn't that bad.
And it wasn't that. It's never that bad. It's never what we create in our minds. One of the things I'll give all your listeners just a strategy is sometimes if something's on my mind, I will dive into it. So I'll dive into this worry and I'll go, okay, what is the worst case scenario that could happen? What is the worst thing that could possibly happen? And then when you can dive in and really realize, you know what, I will still be okay if that happens. I will still be living, I will still get up and I will still do my thing. That worry no longer has the same power over you.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to close our interview, to motivate viewers and really look at the positive in life. So Lisa, I want to thank you so much for this interview. It's been fantastic.
Thank you so much.
All right, take care.